starting with the stuff that's in theaters. One that we were, I don't want to say we were dreading it, but for a long time, I did not know the name of this movie, much more, really the pronunciation to Crawdad? Crawdad is what it's supposed to be called. We went to a late screening of this, because when I think of a Saturday night out with the boys, I think where the Crawdads Sing.
Exactly.
You were explaining to me, this is a book
based
that Reese picked up.
Yeah, this is a book that became a phenomenon. Reese Witherspoon picked it up, as we mentioned, and put it in her book club. So it's got a big fan base already, and I think it's sort of, speaking from not having read the book, it's sort of this mold of these, like, these kind of interesting outsider true crime stories that have tinges of romance going on. Like, there are these different men in her life and stuff like that. We also found out a lot more about the author of that book, Delia Owens, this week.
I did not know,
Yeah, I don't know if that's something we want to get into, but let's focus on the movie at least at first. Where the Crawdads Sing. It's the adaptation of the Delia Owens novel, directed by Olivia Newman, and of course starring Daisy Edgar Jones. This one is about a woman who raised herself in the marshes of the Deep South, where those titular crawdads do sing. And then she becomes the suspect in the murder of a man she was once involved with. A nice PG way of saying, copulating. Yeah. Doing the thing. Anyway, where the Crawdads Sing. It's hot. It's the big movie in the box office this weekend. $17 million. I don't know how much of that is just like Taylor Swift fans going to check out Carolina in Dolby.
Yeah,
the way it's intended to be
heard.
That's
the way people wanted to see it. It's got a small budget. I think the budget ended up being like 25 mil, so it's not even like they needed to bring that much back. I have not read the book. I hear that the book does a fantastic job. It's the reason Reese Witherspoon is a producer on this bad boy. So I can't judge it off that. The story we get, pretty simple, I want to say. I think when you came out of it, you were like, everyone is pretty much one note. The character that they're going to play, it's that and nothing else. And for a movie that's 2 hours and 5 minutes, I think that it suffers from not being able to give you that very flourished world that I'm sure the book gives you.
Right. You don't feel like you get a sense of the characters' inner lives. You just kind of get the surface. Like, there's an abusive dad in the story, and before you've even heard a word out of his mouth, he's already like slapped 3 women, and it's kind of like, okay, I get the character.
One thing and he runs with it,
Yeah, but it's like, it's a very, very like boiled down version of who all these people are.
Yeah.
And you're not necessarily getting, like a complex character study, or it's I think meant to be kind of like titillating and fascinating and kind of transportive in a way, and also relies a lot on your interest in these performances from Daisy Edgar Jones.
People
and
love
like
her.
Yeah, and she's especially in like this sort of romance subgenre between her Hulu series Normal People, and then even like the weirdos with Fresh.
Okay, and this is kind of a combination, not to the fullest degree of both of those.
But not all of murdery.
Yeah, she has one relationship that's actually good.
Yeah.
It's a dude who they do this really cute thing where they're always like sharing feathers with each other, and then there's parts of it that I thought worked out to a certain degree. And then she has a different relationship with this other guy named Chase, and he's like the a-hole of it. This other dude though, Harris Dickinson, I kept seeing him in the movie and I had no idea who he was. I pulled him up. This dude is on a run. He was in B-Trats. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh,
that
was that the B-Trat guy?
He's the B-Trat, yeah.
Damn.
On top of that, he's the King's Man.
Oh.
That was him in all those trailers. I haven't seen the movie, so
I haven't seen it either.
That's him in that, and he's in
shout out to
Souvenir Part 2.
Oh, jeez.
So I did not like him in this movie, but he definitely has a career ahead of him. So Harris Dickinson definitely stood out. I thought she does a decent job for what she's supposed to be doing. She also has a younger counterpart, because there's a little girl who plays her as she's growing up. I thought she did a decent job as well.
Those were some of my favorite bits of the movie, where it's really about this girl trying to figure how she survived after losing her parents. And that, I think, is most of what I liked. Then it gets into kind of the melodramatic romance, love triangle thing. And I don't know, maybe that's just something that works better on the page than it does in the screen, but it's a little thin, and especially because they're hanging this murder plot over you the whole movie and just drawing it out. And that's like the more interesting stuff is there in the beginning and there in the end, and you're just gonna at a certain point waiting around for them to reveal
for that
stuff.
big moment. Again, if you read the book, obviously I would say definitely go check it out. But in terms of what I found the most intriguing was what you were telling me about the backstory. That this is a movie where you're wondering, did she do it? Did she not? Are they trying to define what did this girl have to do with that led her to this point in her life to begin with? You see that the author went through some stuff that correlates with what this movie is going through as well, because a lot of stuff has come out that there's a warrant for her arrest or for her to be interrogated.
Yeah.
But they said they got that stuff on camera, so I don't know. She like lived in
Yeah.
Africa for whatever reason, and was like stopping poachers. She was poaching the poachers.
Exactly, or attempting to.
Reportedly. Allegedly, supposedly.
Definitely read the fascinating Atlantic article, because it's honestly more interesting than this movie was.
It sounds like she knew exactly what the character was going through, but
yeah. I think just one final detail is, like, I think this is the kind of movie where, in order to depict a girl who is poor and doesn't have parents looking after her, they make sure her shoes or her feet are dirty, but her hair is done.
There's no shoes. Yeah.
So, like, I think that gives you a picture of, like, the type of movie.
The way they're approaching it. Yeah. It is the cleanest marsh swamp out there.
Absolutely.
I would give it a rent it. So that is out in theaters if you guys are curious for where the Crawdads Sing. It's my slight spoiler. They don't sing.
Yeah. Well, they don't even show a crawdad at any point.
Show a crawdad.
Like, there's a point in the movie where it kind of looks like, oh, she could go crawfishing.
1 out of 5 stars.
She pulls mussels instead. What's up with that?
It's a metaphor. I did read up on it. It's supposed to be a metaphor, because it's so you can't hear them sing. So it's to infinity and beyond.
Yeah.
But for the marsh people.
Yeah. Metaphors, another thing that might work better in the book.
Yes. But that is out in theaters.